So let's talk a little bit about the recent history of the Libertarian Party. Do you feel, now that you've taken over as chair, any sense of, I don't know if I want to put words in your mouth, like loyalty on behalf of like recent campaigns and candidates?
Loyalty.
Let me ask you what, let me see what I'm not trying to say, because I'm thinking specifically of, there's a podcaster named Patrick Bet-David, and he has a podcast called Alutainment. And he had the 2020 Libertarian candidate for president, Joe Jorgensen, on his show. And it was disastrous, in my opinion. And in the host's opinion, at one point during the show, he says to her, he's like, have you ever debated anyone? And she brought up, she was the vice presidential nominee with Harry Brown, maybe 2 decades ago. And he said, if I were your team, I would have sat you down in a room and, fired questions at you for 2 weeks. Many of the questions he was asking her were one-on-one type stuff. She says she was an open border libertarian, which is not an uncommon position in the Libertarian Party and liberty-minded people in general. And he asked her the very obvious question: what are you going to do about, terrorists who are crossing the border? It doesn't have to be terrorists, just be anyone who's a bad actor, bad faith actor. And her response was literally, well, we keep track of people like that. He asked her about, your concerns about China. And she literally said, well, look at Japan. We bombed them and now we trade with them. China's not going to do anything bad because we trade with them, which is a very not reassuring position, I think, for most people to have. Did you watch that interview?
I saw part of it. I couldn't get through the whole thing.
Okay. Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, what were your thoughts of seeing that? And is this something that you feel some side kind of camaraderie toward, or is it what you're reacting against? Like, where do you stand in relation to that campaign?
I would say that I had a sit-down one-on-one conversation with Joe Jorgensen yesterday for the first time.
Oh.
Yes. And the first thing I did was let her air any and all grievances she had towards the National Party and other people, because I want to begin to repair that relationship. And, without totally throwing her under the bus, I would say she needs a lot of help.
Okay.
She needs help with PR. She needs help to understand why her campaign wasn't well received. A lot of it had to do with staff, but, as her explanation, a lot of it had to do with staff. But, people sometimes wonder, is it because she's a woman? Is it because of this? Is it because, hello, no, I'm right here. I got elected just fine. I had plenty of support. I'm a woman. So I think a lot of our members are really well-meaning. And, she was talking about Ron Paul. She's a little bit more right-leaning into Austrian economics. None of that came through in her campaign. And none of that comes through in any of her interviews. So I think she really needs a little bit of help kind of figuring out what went wrong and how she's going to be better received. I mean, as far as loyalty goes, I feel that I owe it to her to be honest with her in a diplomatic and friendly way so that she can actually make some progress on that. But I don't feel that I have so much loyalty to her that I would lie to her face or tell her, oh, great job. It doesn't matter. Don't listen to those people. You did good. That's not really being loyal anyway, is it? Like just lying to someone?
Well, I think things are different. Loyalty in politics is a very dubious word, because it also means being partisan and kind of sweeping things under the rug. And, Reagan famously had his 11th commandment, which is thou shalt not speak ill of your fellow Republicans, which is really hard to stick to when some people who are within your party, whatever party you're going to be, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, Green, I don't care, are going to be, just bad people, inevitably.
Right. And I don't think she's a bad person, but I think she had really bad advice, really bad management. And the 12 shots thing that she said about Dave, I wasn't able to get into that yesterday in our meeting because there was so much to cover, but I'm going to work on that. And I think that someone put her up to saying that. And it's like, you should just go straight to the source. Just check with people. Don't smear them. We could do better than this. Come on.
Yeah, because Dave Smith, who you're referring to, he's a frequent guest on the show.
Yeah.
Patrick, as a result of that, in my opinion, debacle, he tweeted out who should come on the show to defend the Libertarian Party. And as a result, he had a roundtable of Dave Smith, popular podcaster and very failed comedian, Larry Elder, who has been the Libertarian candidate for governor of New York, I think once and now again, and Spike Cohen, who is the vice presidential candidate in 2020, who's Joe Jorgensen's running mate. And between the three of them, they did a far better job than she had in articulating the views and the path to victory for the LP.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. Like there's really no contest. And those guys are pretty much the best messengers we have, whether you're coming from an anarcho-capitalist, right-leaning, Austrian economics, more, like kind of friendly to the left perspective. Those are the people we should be putting out right now.